I know what it's like. I know what it's like. I know what it's like. I really do. I know what it's like spending your entire existence doing everything the right way and still people hate you for it. I know what it's like feeling like you are following the law perfectly and you're still having bad day after bad day after bad day. I know what it's like to try so hard to do what the law says and get nothing back for all your efforts. Well, let me tell you something you might not have heard before. If you're feeling like you're having a bad day, a bad month, a bad life even, you are blessed. Because listen, the kingdom of heaven is specifically for people like you. If you are grieving over a dead relative, you are blessed because you'll be comforted. If you don't have confidence, you are blessed because it's the humble that will get it all in the end. If you are hungry and thirsty for the right way to live, then you're blessed because you will be satisfied. If you refuse to attack your enemy, you are blessed because you will be shown that same mercy. If everything inside you is pure, you're blessed because you will see God. If you are bringing about peace, you are blessed because you will be recognized as a child of God. If you are punished for doing the right thing, you are blessed because the kingdom of heaven is for people like you. Yes, you're even blessed when people make fun of you and punish you and say all sorts of evil things about you because of your association with me. So be happy. You've got a big reward coming in heaven. Because remember, the prophets from our history were punished in the exact same way. You guys are the salt preserving their legacy. But guys, if salt isn't salty anymore and it becomes sand, like tasteless grit, you can't put the saltiness back in, can you? You know what we do with grit? We throw grit on the floor and walk all over it. That's all grit is good for, right? Nothing else. But you are the light of the world. If you build a town on top of a hill, the lights shine out so that everyone for miles around can see it, right? And you don't turn on your bedside lamp in the morning and then immediately cover it with a cardboard box. No, you put the lamp somewhere that allows you to see everything in the room. You should all be like that. Let your light shine out on everything so everyone can see the good stuff you do and know that you do it because of your faith in your Father in heaven. So keep following the law. It doesn't matter if you feel like you're getting nothing back. Don't think for a second that I'm going to tell you to get rid of the old laws and go back on what the prophets said. I'm here to fill in what they have already said. Because honestly, until the entirety of creation gets wiped out, not a single bullet point will get wiped out from the law. Not until it's all done. So anyone who says that laws don't count anymore, even the little ones, and anyone who tries to teach people that they don't count, that person is the lowest in the kingdom of heaven. But if you actually follow and teach the old law properly, wow, you will be great in the kingdom of heaven. Because I'm telling you, unless you're a better person than the law keepers and the bureaucrats are, unless you can follow the law even better than they do, well, the kingdom of heaven might be for you, but there's absolutely no way you're getting in. Because you've heard that commandment, thou shalt not murder. And anybody who murders goes to court to see the judge. Well, I'm saying that anyone who gets angry at another person will get judged. Anyone who goes out of their way to insult someone should go to court. And if anyone just loses it and shouts in someone's face, you idiot, that person, frankly, deserves hell. I'm serious. If you guys are offering a sacrifice in the temple, just like the old law says, and you remember, oh yeah, I should really apologize to that guy, drop whatever it is you're bringing and go apologize. Do that first. Then you can come to the temple and give your sacrifice because the apology is more important than the ritual. And if someone is threatening to take you to court over something, do your best to repay them and settle it quickly outside of the court. Because you never know, the court might throw you in prison over something that you could have just resolved. And believe me, if you refuse to pay for it out of prison, you will pay for it in prison. And then there's that other one you hear, thou shalt not commit adultery. I say this, all you really have to do is look at a woman in a lustful way, and you've basically already committed adultery with her in your heart, haven't you? Look guys, if you really can't stop your eyes from looking at girls in that way, then dig them out of your own skull and throw them away. Because it's better that you throw away a little part of your body than your whole body gets thrown into hell. And also, if you really can't stop that right hand, same thing. Cut the hand off and throw it away. I'll say it again. It is better that you throw away that little part of your body than your whole body gets thrown into hell. You also hear that if you want to divorce your wife, then you should be kind and give her a certificate that officially proves she's been divorced, because then she can legally go and marry someone else without it counting as adultery. Oh, how kind of you. Well, I say that if your wife has been faithful to you and you are willing to kick her out for no other reason than you find her too much hard work and you fancy a newer model, then you are forcing her to commit adultery by telling her to go and find some other guy to sleep with. And it works both ways. If you think you've discovered a nice way to get sex and still be on the right side of the law, to just pick up a desperate divorced woman that has been kicked out of her home and marry her for easy sex, hate to break it to you, that's still adultery, certificate or no certificate. You also hear this, you must never break a promise. I say don't even make promises. If you swear by heaven, you are saying God answers to you. If you swear by the earth or anything on the earth, you're saying the earth answers to you. If you swear by the king, you say the king answers to you. Don't even swear by your own head. You think that your head answers to you? Then you just try and stop your hair turning grey. Don't say, I swear I'll do it. I promise. It will happen as I command. Just say yes and do it, or no and don't do it. That's it. Here's another one. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. You give me a black eye, I'll give you a black eye. Because that's fair. It's fair, right? But I say don't retaliate. If someone's trying to start a fight with you and slaps you around the face, don't rise to it. And hey, if someone says you owe them $1,000, offer them another 500. And if one of the soldiers makes you carry his bag for a mile, why not carry it for 2? If someone is begging you for something, then please just give it to them, won't you? And if someone wants to borrow something off you, just let them. Forget about what's fair. What about this? You should love your neighbor and hate your enemy. You've heard that one. I say, love your enemies. I say, pray for the ones that punish you. Because then you will be following what God does. He lets the sun shine on his followers and his enemies just the same. And by the way, he also makes it rain on the people that do the right thing and on the people that do the wrong thing. If you only love people that love you back, then what have you really achieved? Even the tax collectors do that. And if you only say hi to people that like you, then what makes you any different to people that don't believe in God? What I'm saying is this. If you want to get into the kingdom of heaven, you must be perfect. Perfect just like God is perfect. So be careful that you're not just being an actor, putting on a performance of following God for all the people around you. Because God does not reward actors. Here's an example. When you give money away to a good cause, don't go around publicizing it like you see people do, just showing off their wealth. They want people to tell them how generous and kind they are. In truth, that's all they'll get for their donations, empty praise. But when you give to charity, don't even let your left hand know what your right hand is giving. Be that secretive about it, because only the Father sees what you do in secret, and He will reward you for it. And when you pray to God, don't stand up in the meeting halls and on the sides of the street so that people see how skilled you are at the art of praying. Honestly, that's all it's good for. Go home. Go to your room. Keep the door closed and pray to your Father in secret. Your Father, who sees what you do in secret, will reward you. And when you pray, don't just spill out piles of meaningless phrases like people from other religions do. They think their gods will listen to them more if they say more words. Don't be like them, because your Father knows what you need before you even ask. So pray like this. Heavenly Father of all of us, we recognize and respect you. We want your rules and your plans to be carried out here like they already are in heaven. So give us just what we need and forgive us when we take too much, as we forgive those who take too much from us. Please help us to stop doing the wrong thing and keep us out of trouble. Pray like that, because when you forgive other people, God will forgive you. But if you don't forgive people when they take from you, then why do you think God would forgive you when you take from him? And when you're fasting, just like the law says, please don't be like those people you see groaning and grimacing and twisting up their faces just to make absolutely sure everybody knows how much they are suffering. They put on a really good show, but that's all it achieves. When you fast, keep yourself clean and neat and tidy so that you look healthy and happy. And people can't even tell that you're not eating because your Father can tell. And you're doing it for him. He is the one who'll reward you for it. What I'm saying is, don't be so concerned with the stuff you can see. Don't worry about being rich and showing off how much of a successful and together person you are. Because all that material wealth, all of that stuff could get taken away from you in an instant. And failing that, it all rusts and decays and gets eaten by insects in the end anyway. Real success and real wealth is found in heaven, where nothing decays and the burglars can't get in. Work on that bank account. Do you love God or do you love stuff? Because the bank account that you're choosing to invest in reveals where your heart really lies. Remember, you are light. They say the eyes are the window to the soul. If that's true, your eyes should all be shining like little floodlights, radiating out from your whole being. If people look at the real you and all they see is darkness, well, then you're in a very dark place, my friend. Because you can't work 2 full-time jobs at the same time. You will end up loving one job and hating the other one. Or at least you'll put all of your effort into one so that you can quit the other one. It's the same with God and stuff. So stop worrying about all that stuff in your life. What food you'll get, whether you look a certain way, or whether you wear the latest fashion or afford the latest gadget. Isn't life about so much more than that? Look at the pigeons. They don't have jobs that take up all of their time. They don't have farms and supermarkets, but God feeds them well enough, doesn't he? And how many of you here can create an extra hour of your day by worrying? And don't even get started on clothes. You want to see nice clothes? Just look at the flowers out there in the fields. The flowers aren't checking out all the magazines to see what's in this month. But even King Solomon, whose expensive wardrobe has been famous for centuries, even he wasn't dressed as beautifully as those fields wearing those flowers. And if God is clothing grass so beautifully, the grass that gets fed to animals, won't he give you even better clothes? Stop being so cynical and stop worrying about it. Do they do the food the way I like it? Or is this drink precisely what I ordered? Or does this outfit look right? Because people that don't have faith in God ask about all of that. God knows that you need food and drink and clothes to wear. All you have to concern yourself with is the kingdom of God and doing things according to what he says is the right way. And all of that stuff will come. So don't get yourself worked up about what may or may not happen to you or whether you will get this or that thing you wanted. You can deal with that when you get it. You've got enough to be concerned with already without worrying about the stuff that hasn't even happened yet. And also, don't concern yourself with other people. and whether they are living up to your standards. Listen, are you even living up to your standards? Because the standards you use to measure other people is the standard that people will use to measure you. It's like you're going up to people and telling them about a bit of jam in the corner of their mouth, when your whole head is covered in jam and you haven't even noticed. Because you're not just telling them about it, you're offering to help them get their jam off. Wipe the jam off your own face first, you hypocrite. Then, actually, you'll be able to see better to help someone else get that jam off from the corner of their mouth. But equally, if they don't want your help, don't force it upon them. You don't try and give jewellery to pigs, do you? Pigs don't even know what jewellery is. If you put pearls down in front of a pig, it will just stamp them into the mud. They might even try and attack you for giving them something so stupid and useless. They definitely won't thank you. They don't think what you're giving them is worth anything. But if you understand that there is value in those pearls, if you want to be shown these things, all you have to do is ask, and it's there for you. Look for it and you'll find it. Knock on the door, knock, 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 and it will be opened for you. Because everyone who really wants to know will get what they're looking for. Is anyone here a dad? Out of all of you dads, who out of you, if your kid came up to you and asked you for a bowl of tomato soup, who would give them a bowl of toxic waste? Or if they asked you for some chicken, who would give their kid a few dead tarantulas instead? Well, if you know how to give good gifts to your children, and let's face it, you're not the world's most perfect dad, then how much more is your Father in heaven able to give good gifts when his children ask? So whatever you wish people would do for you, why don't you be that person who actually does those things for other people? That's what the law is really saying. That's what the prophets really tell us. So go through that little door, because the other door, the big, wide, easy door where you see everyone else going, that is the door that leads to a wasted life. Because the door that leads to the best life is tiny and the path up to it is rough. And not many people even find that door. And look out for fake prophets. They might look the part, but they are like a wolf dressing himself up to look like a sheep. And you know, you're going to be able to tell that they're fake by their fruit. Because you don't get grapes from nettles. And you don't get cherries from thistles, do you? You don't get healthy fruit from a diseased tree. But it's impossible to get bad fruit from a healthy tree. And a tree that keeps bearing bad fruit gets cut down and used as firewood. That's how you'll find them out, by their fruit. Let me tell you, not everyone who calls me their leader will get into the kingdom of heaven. You don't get in by saying it. You get into the kingdom of heaven by actually doing what my Father in heaven tells you. That day will come, and loads of people will come up to me saying, "Oh, great leader, did you see? We spoke in prophecies in your name. We cast out demons in your name. We did all these amazing things in your name." And I'll be like, "Sorry, who are you? I never asked you to do all that." And then I'll be like, "Go away. You're not my followers. You're criminals." So, in conclusion, the people that hear all these things I'm saying and do what they're being asked will be like someone building his house on concrete foundations. When it rains and there's floods and storms and winds blow against that house, it won't move because it is built on concrete. But the people that hear what I'm saying and don't do it aren't building on concrete. Their foundations are just sand with no cement. When rain and flood and storm and wind come down on them, that house will collapse. And not just slowly creaking over. An almighty, huge crash.